And we are back, folks, with another edition of Inside Michigan Recruiting on the Michigan Insider or the MichiganInsider.com. And we're here with one of the top prospects in the entire country, coming from the state of Ohio. Back for, I don't know how many times this is you've been up to Michigan, but I'm talking about Brian Robinson, a top 247 prospect, Austintown, Fitch. Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
All right. So how many times is this that you've been to Michigan now?
Quite a few. A few.
So you made it to, you remember how many games you made it to last year?
Yes, so I made 3 games.
Three games. You've already been up to one practice here in the new year, or one time in the new year. And then you've been on campus now for what, 3-4 days?
Yes, sir.
All right. So very, very familiar with Michigan. All those times that you've been on campus, what's different about this experience this time around? What have you seen new? What have you done differently this time?
Nothing's really changed. Like, Michigan is consistent with everything they do. When you come, they show you. It's like, this is our format, this is our program, this is what we do. Nothing changes.
All right, so did you?
And then I will say, I seen education this time.
Okay.
So I seen the engineering side, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I was always swayed to like mechanical engineering. They made me, when they was going through the process, I was like, ooh, I might like civil engineering a little more.
Okay. All right. So you've been able to sit through several days. I mean, it's different when you come to campus and it's like you're in and you're out. You know, very easy for not these coaches, but some coaches to put on the front. You've seen them multiple days in a row now.
Oh, yes.
And so I'm curious, as you go through the process, how do you gauge? Because it seems like this is a way to really evaluate the staff. Do you always tell them you're coming, or do you just show up?
I just show up. It's an element of surprise. I be texting them at night, oh, I'm coming tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow morning. They're like, oh, you coming? Oh, yes, sir. I'll be there.
So you got a chance to sit through and watch a couple of practices. Give me your observations of Michigan in practice so far. What did you think?
They have a lot of energy when going through practice. Coach Minter's great, Coach Elston, they're always on top of their guys. Even Coach Clinkscale, he does not take it easy on his DBs. It don't matter if you right. Get lower. Turn your toe out. Sink back faster. Like, there's always perfection. There's always room. Coach Dillon, like, none of the coaches are ever comfortable with being great. It has to be excellent. And even excellent isn't good enough. Individual
players. Were there any, I know you watched the D-line most of all, but were there any players that sort of jumped out at you, be they offense or defense?
KG, the D tackle, that's my dude, man. He always got some great energy. Jenkins, he always great. He's like, man, what up, B? How you been? And then Jay, he's like, man, what up, big dog? Like, man, you coming? Like, I see you all the time. And then you got McGregor, he's like, what up, B? And he's like, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a great group of guys. So it's a wonderful group of guys.
You know, they've lost a lot of pros over the last couple of years. Obviously, you know, this was rookie year for Braden. I'm calling him for Aiden Hutchinson.
Yes, sir.
With the Lions, David Jabo was a second-round pick. You got some guys from this past team. Mike Morris is going in the NFL draft. What do you see in this group? Do you see a long way for them to go to get to that level of performance, or do you see them, at least in practice, looking like they're on that level?
Oh, yes, I see replicas. They definitely show what they produce. And I feel each one of those players will be great.
All right, so I know you have a relationship with Clink already, which we'll get into. But you got to form those same kind of relationships with your position coach, with the defensive coordinator. So let's get away from the coaching side of it and tell me about the relationship side of it with Coach Elston, Coach Roney, and of course, Coach Minter.
It's really just checking up on each other, seeing how your day-to-day go, how you doing, what you've been doing, what you've been up to. And me, my regimen's always the same. My training, I'm consistent with it. Wake up 4:30 in the morning, go work out. Come home, take my protein, eat breakfast, shower, I go to school. Get out of school at 11:50, I'm on the field doing speed and agility or mobility. I'm working on that, or I'll be in the gym getting my own personal lift on. After that, I'm coming back to the school to train and lift with my school. After that, I'm back at the gym with my personal trainer, Ed McElroy. After that, I'm in Cleveland with Mark Harris, with Raw Talent Sports, training one-on-one positional training.
Okay.
So I got a day-to-day regimen I follow.
All right. And so when it comes to you talk about Michigan's routine, tell me about the vibe that you have with the coaches, Coach Elston, Coach Roney, Coach Mentor. I know you have a great relationship with Coach Clinkscale.
Yes, sir.
But you're looking to develop the bonds with those other coaches. So how's that process coming along with those three coaches?
The process has been great. Just connecting with them, watching how they coach, feeling the energy that they give their players and that they give me too.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you already have great chemistry with a lot of the players on the team. So really feels like you're feeling at home. What about Coach Harbaugh? What has the interaction been like with the head man?
Oh, Coach Harbaugh is wonderful. Man, he loves to crack jokes. He'll joke with you. He's like, yeah. He's like, well, you know, he have his weighted vest on the field. You know, I ain't got your chest, but I'm getting there. I'm staying young.
So, look, you know, inquiring minds want to know, you've been to Michigan so many times. You said they're very consistent. It's the same. It hasn't changed, the impressions that they made on you. So, begs the question, what more do you want to see from Michigan? What else are you looking to feel out as far as the Wolverines are concerned?
Oh, there's nothing else. Even just my recruiting process, I see what the schools have to offer me. Mm-hmm. Now it's about what do I have to offer the schools.
Mm-hmm. So do you feel like you have a good idea of what your role at Michigan would be, what kind of contributor you could be, and how early? I mean, is that a big deal, being able to get on the field right away? How are you thinking about all of that right now?
Oh, yes, sir. That's why I train to play as a true freshman. That's my goal, to play as a true freshman. And they showed me where they'd have me as an outside linebacker, DN, strong side, as a hybrid, dropping back in coverage.
Coach Clinkscale, you know, he's a Youngstown guy. Been knowing your dad their whole lives, obviously been knowing you forever. He's recruiting you really hard. You have a great relationship. Is there anything more from Coach Clinkscale? Like, aside from the relationship, what about the way he's recruiting you stands out to you? What, as far as how you compare him to other coaches, what is it that Coach Clink is doing that has Michigan on such a high level with you?
Just shoot straight forward. He's like, B, we want you. And this is a place I can see you at. He's like, and I'm gonna be hard on you. He's like, ain't gonna be no baby, and I'm not. And that's all I'm looking for. I don't want to be coddled. I don't want to be babied. I want you to put your foot on my neck like my father does.
So how does Michigan compare the visits that you have at Michigan? I wonder how you compare. Do you have like a standard that you compare all the other schools to? You know, do you compare other schools to Michigan, or how do you do the compare and contrast piece of it with the other schools that you're looking at?
Oh, just my development. I don't care for the bells and whistles or the architecture of your program or the building, the shape, the size. I don't care for none of that. I just need to know what kind of education can you offer me and how you can develop me.
So you were talking about your process a moment ago. Where are you in your process? I mean, do you have more visits lined up? Do you plan on going into the summer with your recruitment? Like, where are you in your recruiting process at the moment?
Well, I'll be visiting other schools. I'll be visiting Penn State, Kentucky, Pitt, Colorado. I'll be visiting other schools.
But are you going to just do that in the spring, or are you going to take visits into the summer, or are you going to carry it out into the fall, into the school year?
Probably take it all the way to the school year.
Okay.
Just go take another trip, go around, see what everybody, like, what's changed.
Okay. All right. And so you mentioned Penn State. I know you made it over to Penn State here in the new year. Tell me about the Nittany Lions and what you think of them at this point.
I had a great time there with Coach Franklin, vibe with him. They really welcomed me. They're like, man, B, I see the meals. They always want to talk about the meals my dad cooked. Man, I done gained like 10 pounds looking at your page. He's like, man. But it's always a great connect. It's just a laugh, a fun, a joke. But it's always, and then you cut down to the business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. And so Kentucky. I feel like Kentucky is similar to Michigan in the relationship that they've been able to foster with you to this point. I don't know if that impression is correct, but that's just how I feel from the outside looking in. So tell me about Kentucky and where they stand with you at this point.
Oh yeah, the Youngstown Ties, Coach Merrill, the Stoops brothers. I love them. I love everybody equally. I love them all.
So what about your role there, and what you see as the fit being there? What do you think?
I would be a strong edge outside linebacker, a hybrid. I'd also drop into coverage.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about factors then. I've asked you this question before, but it's been a year. You've seen a lot of other places, and the places that you had seen at that point, you've seen over and over again. Now that you have some experience under your belt, what are you looking for? What are going to be the biggest factors in the school that you eventually pick?
Really just education. The education and what I can bring to the table. They've showed me what they had.
So from a football perspective, wins and losses, playoff appearances, conference championships, any of that matter to you? Some guys say they want to go into a winning scenario off the rip. Other guys say, doesn't matter. I'll be a part of building that type of scenario. Do you have a preference? Do you want to be a part of a building process, or do you want to go into a winning culture that's already established?
I want to, of course, everybody wants to win. And you want to be in that winning establishment. But I'm a 24. I know you're not going to be here. Everybody's going to graduate. Everybody's going to go to the pros. Everybody's going to move on. I have to worry about my class. What can we do? What can we provide?
So have you been in communication with other recruits about
yes,
who
sir.
they're looking at, what schools they're going to? So give me some. All right, see, now we're getting serious. So give me an idea of some of the recruits that you've been in contact with maybe most frequently.
Bryce West, Elijah Rudolph, Ben Roebuck. Like, I talk to these guys all the time.
All right, and so a lot of those guys, well, I know Bryce has.
What's the school like? Who we want to play together? All of our Ohio guys, and then you got Luke. Luke, like, I'm here. Like, what y'all three gonna do? So it's like, man, it's a mixture.
All right, so all those guys have Michigan offers for
Yes,
sure.
sir.
So how do you think Bryce is feeling about Michigan right now?
I couldn't really say. I think he's heavy on Michigan. I really do.
So
he loves Michigan.
I asked that question because all you guys have Michigan in common, but you don't all necessarily have Ohio State in common right now. So I'm curious, how big of a factor is that in your specific recruitment as far as Ohio State is concerned?
I mean, it plays a factor. I don't really let that role affect me.
Are they still talking to you?
What's best for us?
Are they still talking to you? Like, I know you were talking last time about Coach Johnson. You have a good connection and bond with him. So what has he kind of said to you about where you are with Ohio State right now?
Oh, still in the mix. He loved to get me up for spring practice. He loved to see me. He's like, man, he's like, I want to get you up here. I want to get you in the room with me. So we still have that connection. I still talk to him.
So you talk to all these Ohio guys. Have you seen a difference in their perception of Michigan after Michigan destroyed Ohio State the last couple of years?
There's definitely a different outlook on it. Yes, there is. But
Do you sense a greater openness to Michigan in the aftermath of their success of late?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so the other piece, when you talk about talking to players, you got a Youngstown connection now that is on their way to Michigan, right? So last time we talked, you said these guys are family.
Yes, sir.
Right? Michigan was like this Youngstown North all of a sudden. So are those guys on you or Michigan's Youngstown crew that they just went and got in this last recruiting class?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, but
DJ Waller and Jason Hughes.
Yeah,
definitely.
Let's talk about your individual relationships with each of those guys. Starting off first with DJ. How far do you go back? How well do you know him? And is he talking to you about Michigan?
Oh, since Little League. We've grown up playing football since Pee-wees. Like, we go far back. And just like, come on, be like, dude, like, you gonna come already? You come up to the school 24/7. He's like, man, you might as well just join us. He's like, we always talked about playing together. He's like, right now is our chance.
Okay, and so what kind of player is DJ? I feel like a lot of fans haven't seen him yet. What do you think of his game?
DJ a ball player. He aggressive. He attacked that ball, and he's lengthy. He uses his length.
Okay.
He's that breakaway, and when he comes to hit, he comes to hit you. And that's with Jason too. They're just some dogs.
All right, so Jason Hewlett, to me, one of the best athletes in the country. Not just Youngstown, not just Ohio, in the country. You've seen him for longer and know him better than a lot of people. So before we talk about your relationship with Jason, tell us about his game.
He a headhunter. He attacking that ball. He let that quarterback let that ball go. That quarterback gonna be 10 yards away. He gonna make that quarterback slide 10 yards. Jason the dog, it's just in our blood. It's that killer instinct.
All right, so your relationship with him, how far do you go back? How well do you know him?
Oh, Pee-wees, we all grew up together. We all in that little clique. That's how we been. We spread when high school came. When high school came, we kind of separated. They still try to get me over there. They was like, man, come on, B, man, we finna have a crazy season.
So does he recruit you as hard as DJ, or is it different with Jason?
Oh no, they recruit. It's pretty equal. It's everybody though. Even with Luke, like it's like B, like Michigan is it, man. Like I'm telling you, gonna love this place.
All right, so talk to me like George Robinson talks to you. All right, so you're George Robinson. I tried to get George Robinson on camera, but maybe another time. So you be George Robinson, I'm gonna be Brian, and I'm looking at schools. You tell me what you want me to look at. Tell me how you want me to evaluate these schools on the recruiting trail. What's most important for me to look for?
I mean, they showed you what they had to offer. We see it with all the schools. We're just really focused on if the coaches are going to be there. It's like everybody's moving around right now. And, I mean, we're not too sure where everybody's going to be, but
so
we'll go from there.
With Michigan's coaches, because they've obviously had some coaches that have moved on to the NFL. Number one, do you have a feel or comfort level with how long you think Coach Clinkscale is going to be at Michigan? Do you have a good feel for that right now?
Me personally, I don't think he's leaving. He has a strong connection with Michigan. The coach staff, everything. Like he truly feels welcome there. Like he loves it there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we know that this past couple months ago, Coach Harbaugh was talking to the Broncos. We know a couple of weeks ago, Coach Mentor was talking to the Eagles, right? So is that something that kind of was giving you pause? Like how hard are you looking at the NFL looks that the coaches are getting, not just at Michigan, but everywhere? Sounds like that's something that you're paying attention to.
Yes, it plays a role, but I'm mainly coming to the school for my development.
Mm-hmm. All right, so tell me how the end of the process is going to go for you. So it sounds like you're going to go all the way to the fall. Are you going to go till signing day to make a decision? Like, what's your timeline? Let's not beat around the bush. What's your timeline for making a decision?
I don't really have a timeline yet. We're still deciding on that.
But you know it's going to at least go into the fall, it sounds like.
Yes, sir. Probably.
Probably into the fall. All right. So when you get ready to sit down and make that decision, what's that process going to be like? Is you sitting down with your dad and, you going to a board and doing a checklist as some guys do? Others just like the solitude. They want to be by themselves as they make a decision, and just me, myself, and I. How are you going to do it?
Oh, no, there is no me, myself, and I. It's my dad, my trainers. I got a counsel. It takes a village to raise a child. I have a village that will be a part of my decision. So you guys all sit down and go back and forth about the different schools? Yes, sir, definitely. All right. And so what does your dad say? What does your dad say about Michigan? Like, what does he like about Michigan in your conversations with him? He loves Michigan. He loves the academics, the very high-end academics. They got a great football program, and he feels like they could develop me. Okay, and development is going to be a big deal. Here's a tough question for you. Is there anything that could speed you up? Is there anything that could make you decide before the fall what school you want to go to? No, I don't really think there's. Let's say, I'm going to give you a hypothetical. Okay. Let's say that you went on a visit. It's hypothetical. You went on a visit and you met a 5-star quarterback. Okay. And you vibe with that 5-star quarterback. Yes, sir. And that 5-star quarterback said, okay, I'm about to go to this. I told you I want you to come play with me, not play against me.
I'm a 5-star. I want you to play with me, not against me. And then that 5-star quarterback who wants you to play with him, not against him, picks a school that you're high on already and says, remember I said I want you to go with me, not against me? I'm here now. I want you to come because I want you to come help me recruit other guys. Is that something that would be a compelling argument for you? Is that something that would maybe speed up that timeline a little bit if that player, this hypothetical player, were to make this commitment and were to make that kind of appeal to you?
A little bit. A little bit. Because now I got somebody on the other side of the ball I trust. Like, you got my word. I'm big on loyalty, so if you give me your word, it holds some weight to it. Not saying I'm a jump,
right?
But it's like, I gotta take this. Like, I gotta be serious about this now. Like, I gotta take this into serious consideration.
Okay, all right. So you going back one more day of Michigan practice. I mean, for people who haven't been there, you talked a lot about the energy. But a regular person that goes to a practice can see energy. You're a ball player.
Oh.
When you go to a practice, what are the other things you see at a Michigan practice that really stand out to you, that make you say, man, that's something that I'm not to say that you would go to Michigan, but that's something that I could really see myself being a part of?
Just the community. From the janitors, from the staff, to the players, to the coaches, to the strength and conditioning, like Coach Herb and all of them. You just gravitate towards them. Like there's no, you won't shy away like, oh, I don't know if I'm comfortable in this room. Like everything's like, all right, I'm gonna include you in this. Like, oh, what are your thoughts? Oh, what am I like? What do you want to know? Because I want to know your perspective. I want to know how do you see this. They're always looking for something new.
Mm-hmm. So how many schools are still on your list at this point?
I never really made a list.
So you never really made a list?
I'm open.
So when are you going to cut your list down? We know you're probably going to decide till the fall. When are you going to cut it down, trim it down?
Ooh. Probably. I'm going to cut it down soon. I cut it down soon.
And give yourself something more manageable.
Yes, sir.
To deal with. All right. Well, Brian, next up after Michigan is going to be visiting where?
Penn State.
Penn State, and then you said you had one more after that?
Kentucky. And I'll be visiting Pitt, Colorado.
Okay. Oh, Coach, I got to ask you about Coach Prime. I mean, what was it like to get offered by Coach Prime?
It was great. It was wonderful.
Did that make an impact on you?
One of the best football players that ever played a game of football.
What did that mean? I mean, did it move you like it moved your dad to be offered by Deion Sanders?
I mean, I really enjoyed it. But I'm not so much, like, I don't really get starstruck.
I got
like,
you. And that's what I was wondering.
But you know who did? I'm gonna be honest, you know who did? Coach Hart. His guy, Coach Hart, that dude, when I seen him, I didn't know what to do. I was like, what? Oh my. I'm like, this can't be real. Like, am I really looking at this guy? Like, I had goosebumps all over me.
I got you. Well, hey, you know what? We certainly will follow all of your visit recaps and see how things are going. Certainly we'll follow you on Twitter and keep track of, your eating routine. I mean, your menu is outstanding. Like, who sets the breakfast, dinner, lunch menu? Who does? Do you make requests, or does George just come? George just comes and has the menu already prepared?
Blesses me. I'm just blessed. And I'm blessed to be in the position I am today. I'm blessed to have him. I'm blessed to have the people around me. I'm blessed to have y'all.
Well, I just know I'm going to be coming through Youngstown because I got to see Jason and I got to see DJ. And I figure, I probably won't have to go to a restaurant because we got we got Chef Robinson. We got Chef Robinson over here to take care of business. But, Brian, appreciate your time for dropping by. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.